Welcome back to Rose Red Studios, where we talk about all things storytelling. This is a part of my Path to Publishing series that I am doing as part of a 6-month challenge to change my life. Specifically, we're becoming an author in 6 months, and I am here to kind of catalog or capture every step of the process in hopes that if you guys are on the same path, that this information is there to help you. And today I'm specifically talking about formatting your novel. This is a huge part of having a very presentable book, a finished product that looks amazing. Now, this is something you can hire someone to do. There are plenty of people out on the internet who will do this for you. A lot of them are, I think, reasonably priced, although it depends on what level of complexity you would like to have. However, I had decided that this is something I can do for myself, and especially because I plan on publishing a lot of novels. I don't want to get stuck in the area where I have to pay someone every single time. I have to work with someone else's deadlines if someone doesn't have the time to take on more clients and I need it done right away. This is something I wanted to learn to do for myself, so I'm always available. I can do it exactly the way I want it to. And also, it's a one-time fee for the program. So I am using Atticus. This was something that I saw recommended by another author who does rapid publishing, and so she does a lot of her own formatting for the same reasons. Atticus, at the time I purchased it, at this point just a month ago, it was $147 for a one-time download. So fantastic. I went in fully expecting a monthly fee, as all of these programs tend to be these days. So I snatched that up right away because a lot of stuff that used to be a one-time download is now monthly. I always recommend getting them when they still are one-time downloads. So this video is going to walk you through the process step by step of prepping your original document to be uploaded into this program and formatted the correct way. It is really important to format correctly. If you you can just upload a PDF or a Microsoft Word document to some publishing platforms, but trust me, way back in the day when I first started meddling with self-publishing, that can cause some major issues. That can make some nasty things show up in your manuscript. And so you really want to make sure that this is super on point. Everything looks really professional, because there are people who still have a self-publishing bias. I don't get that at all. There are some great self-published authors out there, but there's still people out there who get a little uppity about reading self-published novels. And in that case, you really want to be able to present yourself as professionally as possible and be like, hey, you're going to get the same product if you read my book as if you get a book published by a traditional publisher. And we have those tools at our fingertips now, so we might as well do them. So let's jump right in and start looking at Atticus and how we can use it to create amazing looking books.
All right, let's get started. To start with, I wrote my manuscript outside of this program. I wrote it in Microsoft Word, then I uploaded it to Google Docs for my editors, and then I downloaded it from there. So my files are all Word docs, and these need to be prepped before you upload them into Atticus. The main thing is you click on that little paragraph signal up there, and it's going to show you a bunch of different things, including something like this, which downloaded from Google Docs this way, where it put the indentation as a bunch of spaces. We don't want that. We want to clear those out and do a tab over, because stuff like that can cause your formatting to get weird. So you want to get rid of that. You want to get rid of things you see right here. This is that little arrow. That means for some reason there's a shift enter instead of the paragraph situation just says enter. Having those randomly in the middle can also upset the formatting. So basically you just want to make everything really consistent. You want paragraph indentation to start with tab. You want all of your lines to be broken just by an enter. And the more you go through and just make sure everything is correct in the front, up front, the cleaner your initial formatting is going to be. Now, for this program, you want to create one solid document of all of your chapters into one. Not your prologue or your afterwards or any of your other things, but all of your chapters we want to put into a single document. You don't want them to start with a chapter number. So you see my individual documents, I have the word chapter and 3. You don't want that. You want each one to start blank up top. You'll see why in a minute. Another really important thing is you want each chapter to have a hard page break inserted. So you go to Insert Pages, insert that in there. Every single chapter needs to end with a page break. So now we have all the chapters combined into one document. We've made sure that all the little symbols that represent things are consistent throughout. Again, you'll see this is full manuscript is all the chapters, but then I have the prologue and everything else broken out into individuals. So we're going to open up Atticus. You'll see start a new book as if you want to write in the program. I did not do that. That is a possibility if you feel like doing that. We're not going to create a book set right now. This is just, we're formatting a single book. So we're going to go and upload, and you're going to fill in your book information here. That will just like start populating the title page. I have not used the project feature, again, since I'm doing a single book. So we're just going to upload, and then I've already done that. So that's created this file right here. So now you'll see over on the left-hand side, it has automatically created all of my chapters, since that's what it's detecting with the page break. So it's already created all of them. It's numbered them all. That's automatic, which is fantastic. We don't have to go in and upload these things individually. As to everything else, the title page, all of that, we're going to show that in a minute. It does take a little while to sync while we're doing it. So your title page is automatically created by the system, and it will have the information you put into the heading as, filled in already. All these other pages I have inserted separately, and you just go down here and you click on the plus signal and you do preset layouts. And here you're going to see a bunch of stuff that you're going to want to add a lot of this, and it's already kind of preset together. So I added a prologue, I had a dedication. I don't really need forward. Preface I used to do a little extra information. You'll see how I use that in a minute. But this just also kind of acts as a primer for like what you should be including. And some of this is related to nonfiction. So you need to remember, like, you don't need all of this. But I did do an acknowledgement page, which you can see you can just grab these and move them anywhere. They don't have to go exactly where they initially happen. So editing the title page, this information you have to fill out in the original setup. It'll give you an option, but you can go down here and click preview, and you can see what it looks like for the format that I chose. We'll do that in a second. I'll show you how we choose that. But this gives you a look of like what it's going to look like. They have a copyright page with information already filled in. You'll see here I put copyright templates. I just chose generic fiction. And then it comes with all this information. All you have to write in is the year and your name and who did the book cover and all of that. So it's really easy. I used preface for this. I wanted to have a content warning on it. So I just put it in here. I did not give it any information like in the title chapter so that, doesn't fill in. This, I wanted to have like kind of a separate page for when the chapter's prologue jumps. And to create this, I created the preface, and then I put in the name and that in the chapter, and that's what created it look like this. So that's kind of how you'd put in additional information that you would like to see. So here I did not put a chapter title in, so it's just got the body of the text. I did add dedication. Now, contents is something important. To do an ebook, you have to have a table of contents in your file. That's just a requirement for uploading ebooks. So this will automatically create a linked bookmark or table of contents for you. However, I select this option to put ebook only. I don't feel like print copies need this, especially considering I don't name my chapters. If you name your chapters, that might be something you want to consider for your print. But since I don't, I am just editing it to ebook only. For print, you have options of how you want to do that, but since this is ebook only, I'm not bothering with any of that. I'm going to open up a chapter here. And you will see I have not added a chapter title. So that means that it just automatically fills in chapter 1 as the title, which is what I would prefer. I'm not naming my titles. However, I wanted to have like the year here. So I put that into this is called a subheading, and you can just fill that right in. and that will put it on. But if you don't put any information there, nothing will populate. It will just say chapter and the number. For prologue, I created the prologue page, I put prologue in, and then I copied and pasted this right into it. I did notice that created some weird issues where I had to go through and read it and double check to make sure, because some of the spacing got weird when I copied and pasted it in. And you'll see here, again, I typed in the word prologue, so that shows up in the page. Next, go through and make sure when you copy and paste information in that the formatting is not weird, because that is something I have noticed. Uploading everything seems to go fine. Copy and pasting, sometimes that causes some glitches. So I just wanted to double check. So I was in the writing, you'll see up top in the writing segment where you're editing your book itself. Then you can click over to formatting and you can choose your format. They have a bunch of preset formats. So you can select the chapter that you want to review in. So like this one, I'm on prologue, and so now I know what prologue looks like, but I can come over here and click on a chapter in writing and then switch back to formatting. And this gives me a look at like what each of these preset formats are going to look like for a chapter heading. And then once I select which I went with Minerva, I like the fonts that are preset in that. You took the 3 dots and you hit edit the theme, and that creates its own theme here. So then I can go in and edit this. And this is where give you a lot of options to update different fonts, to choose sizes, width percentages, like everything is very, very editable within these formatting options. I did not edit a lot of it because the reason I chose this particular template, I just liked it already. But you can get really free with like how much you edit it. You can see down there, I have selected to do this image up here. I have selected chapter image in this first section. And then I selected use individuals because I wanted to change the pattern per chapter. And then I selected down at the bottom full bleed. So in the ebook, that's what this is going to look like here on the screen. It's going to look like this. But for the print, if I selected full bleed, it's going to go all the way to the edge of the page, which is obviously what I want. You can select the kind of location of the chapter titles, the chapter numbers. You can move that around. Again, I liked the preset that it came with. That's why I chose it. So I didn't manipulate a lot of this. If you like your section or the format you get, you might just be fine. Again, you can edit the paragraphs. So I liked the first letter of the chapter large like this. So we did drop caps. But I only did that at the beginning of the chapter, not for every paragraph, because I think that would be kind of weird looking. But again, you can choose a lot of different options. You can, really customize it. Okay, so this is a scene break, and I want to go back and show you what this looks like because this first chapter doesn't have a scene break. So I'm going to go over here to chapter 5 because I know that one has a scene break. And you'll see here what it looks like in the text is 3 asterisks. What it looks like here, because I have told it for scene break that I want an image, this is what it looks like in the book, which is really cool. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with that. So basically what you need to do to ensure that you have that is when you are formatting your initial thing, your initial document, you want to do these 3 asterisks and center them on the page. And that in the formatting program understands that what you're doing is a scene break, and then you can come in here and customize what that scene break looks like with an image or whatever you want to do. If you don't customize it, it will still show it as 3 asterisks, which, that's fine, but it gives you the option to make it a little bit cooler. And you can change the size of, in this case, the dragon, using the width. So this is the size I went through. And I did make sure all of the spacing, top and bottom, between the scenes was very uniform, because that will come out looking weird if you don't pay attention and there's like 2 spaces below one and 1 space below the other. So again, you can update the font, you can update the margins and the layouts if you choose to. You can play with more stuff like that. Headers, all this stuff. Now, trim size is something we really want to pay attention to. This is the size your book will print at when you're printing. And you're going to see down here at the bottom, these colors are indicators of whether or not Kindle or KDP or Ingram Sparks support this size. In general, you're going to want to do a format that both of them support so that you have options. I talked a bit earlier in another video about what like the difference between KDP and Ingram Sparks is, but in this case, we're just going to talk about like you want to have a format that does both, so you have options to upload to both. It's good to pay attention to what other books in your genre, what trim sizes they generally use. In my genre, this size, the 5.258 times 8 and the 6x9 are the most common. I preferred the smaller size. I just pulled a bunch of books in my house and like looked at different sizes and things like that. And this is a size that, one, is common in my genre, and two, I like, and is available in both KDP and Ingram Sparks. So that's kind of, the thought process behind choosing that. But obviously you have a ton of different size options. KDP is going to have more options than Ingram Sparks a lot of times for like, the size of a fiction. I think Ingram Sparks has more options if you're wanting to do like a children's book or a landscape layout. So a book that's not in general fiction. But KDP has more sizes available for fictions or paperback books. So yeah, that's just something that you need to pay attention to. Like, where do you want to release this? What platform are you going to use? That's going to affect your trim size choices. So let's take a look. I have a few more things that we want to take a look at. Just some things to pay attention to here. So in this case, what I was using for thank you for reading, you want to have something in the background that like tells your readers like what else is coming, what they can expect more in your series. In this case, I did something a little different with the acknowledgments. It's nice to have acknowledgments on there. That's a good place to just thank all the people who are involved. Another thing that I wanted to bring up real quick was when doing an image like this. It's really a good idea to export your document and double check, because what you're seeing on the screen there isn't necessarily what it's going to export at. So it's really good idea to double check before, because you'll see here, this lace pattern, it showed on the screen as higher than the chapter. I'm going to have to scroll because I used a couple different ones and you can't really see it until I get to a multi-numbered. But in essence, it dropped a lot lower. Here you go. You can see like it's a lot lower than it's showing here originally. And so I had to go through and adjust those after the fact and pull them image up a bit. And you just go through and edit it over. You can't really see it's visible on the screen right now, but it's over by the chapter title. You can click on it and adjust the image a bit. I just went ahead and actually like changed the image that I originally created in Procreate to make it quicker than worrying about adjusting it in the program. I just made it smaller. But it's a really good idea to export to a PDF and then review it before you export to the EPUB and upload it to your system. So yeah, just double check everything. There you go. You can see like I adjusted the size of the image and it's much higher. And so like I just didn't like the way it was like interfering with the chapter title. I didn't think that looked very professional. So that is most of the options I chose. There are a lot of different options. You can do additional, add more images, create different things for scene breaks. One really cool thing this has is text messages. So you can make in page it look like people are texting back and forth. If you know Janice Hallett, she uses that feature a lot. So that's a really cool feature this has that I don't need because my book takes in 1887, but that is a very cool feature if you want to do that. There's just so many options that you have with this program. And there are the creators of this program have some like kind of nitty gritty detail tutorials on YouTube for things like if you want to add like a full page map or additional like specs like that. Definitely check theirs out. They don't really have like a full one all the way through that's very coherent, but they do have like individual videos that are great. So anyway, I hope this helps. If you're planning on formatting your own book, you can follow along for more of the process as we go, but this was a super helpful program for me to be able to just one time download the program and be able to format my own book. Not have to pay for each individual book to be formatted, but instead just be able to do a one-time download the program and then format it for myself.